it's Jasmine, and I hope that you all are doing well. Today, I wanted us to take another look at the Gospel of Aradia, and I want to read a passage with you. This is in chapter 1. Okay, chapter 1, Aradia, the Gospel of the Witches. How Diana gave birth to Aradia, also known as Aradia. Diana greatly loved her brother, Lucifer, the god of the sun and of the moon, the god of light and splendor, who was so proud of his beauty, who for his pride was driven from paradise. Diana had by her brother a daughter to whom they gave the name of Aradia. In those days there were on earth many rich and many poor. The rich made slaves of the poor. In those days, many slaves who were cruelly treated, in every palace tortures, in every palace prisoners. Many slaves escaped, and they fled to the country. Thus they became thieves and evil folk. Instead of sleeping by night, they plotted escape and robbed their masters, and then slew them. So they dwelt in the mountains and forests as robbers and assassins, all to avoid slavery. Diana said one day to her daughter Aradia, and this is where we have the gospel. "'Tis true indeed, thou art a spirit, but thou wert born but to become again." Think about that. It is true indeed that thou art a spirit, but thou wert born but to become again. A mortal, thou must go to earth below, to be a teacher unto women and men who fain would study witchcraft in thy school. So here Diana is sending Aradia to earth with the mission of teaching the art of witchcraft to the men and women of earth. "Be not yet like Cain's daughter, thou shalt never be, nor like the race who have become at last wicked and infamous from suffering, as are the Jews and the wandering Zingari, who are thieves and knaves, like unto them ye shall not be." When I first read this passage here, some of this kind of like cut me kind of sharp, because, Zingari is like another word for a vagrant, gypsy, whatever. And then it kind of came off a little bit anti-Semitic to me when I was reading this passage. But upon looking into this a little bit more, I feel like when we're referring to "be not yet like Cain's daughter, thou shalt never be," Cain being one of the first children of Adam and Eve and bearing the mark of Cain and being ostracized, and there being a very strong Catholic Christian kind of belief that, pagans come from Cain. When Diana is saying here in the gospel, "Be not yet like Cain's daughter, thou shalt never be," I think what the real message is, do not appear as a pagan, appear as one of the people. If you think about this being kind of like in this specific time period in Italy, if you stuck out or you looked other, you show up in a church with a giant pentacle around your neck, that probably wouldn't be the best thing. It would probably be best for you to not appear to be a child of Cain, And then it says, "Nor like the race who have become at last wicked and infamous from suffering, as are the Jews and the wandering Zingari, who are thieves and knaves, like unto them ye shall not be." See, the one thing that Cain's children and Jews and the Zingari, the one similarity here is this aspect of traveling. And the real message, I feel like, is not one necessarily of racism or anti-Semiticism. From what I was reading online, what is really trying to be conveyed here is this belief that you should stand your ground, own your land, not let anyone take this land from you, slay your oppressors, and stand firm and firmly rooted and firmly planted on the ground that you reside on, and own property and own land and own your sovereignty in a way. So that's a very touchy passage. And, I'm not saying that I personally fully support or condone, but I think that's what is trying to be conveyed. And that translation of it, I think, makes more sense for this passage. And thou shalt be the first of which is known, and thou shalt be the first of all in the world. I think that's pretty straightforward. Aradia being, thought as one of the queens of all witches who taught witchcraft, Stragaria, to the people. Thou shalt teach the art of poisoning those who are great lords of all. Remember, the gospel is very much a story of liberation and freeing yourself from oppressors. So I think, what we have there is, thou shalt teach the art of poisoning. We're talking about malefic and baneful magic. Thou shalt make them die in their palaces, and thou shalt bind the oppressors' souls with power. Baneful magic and poison, overthrowing your oppressors. And when ye find a peasant who is rich, then ye shall teach the witch your pupil how to ruin all of his crops with tempest dire, with lightning and thunder, terrible, and with the hail and wind. I have to think that this is kind of like a modern day passage about basically do not entertain a bootlicker, do not entertain someone who would sabotage the resistance, and, teach your pupils, teach your fellow witches how to strip them of their prosperity by wielding malefic and baneful magic. That's my interpretation of the gospel there. And when a priest shall do you injury by his benedictions, ye shall do unto him double the harm, and do it in the name of me, Diana, queen of witches all. So this is saying, when a priest shall work against you with his benedictions, return it to him twice. Return it to him double what he has done unto you. And do it in the name of Diana, the queen of all witches. Do it in the name of Aradia. And when the priests or the nobility shall say to you that you should put your faith in the Father, Son, and Mary, then reply, your God, the Father, and Maria are three devils. For the true God the Father is not yours, for I have come to sweep away the bad, the men of evil, all will I destroy. Ye who are poor suffer with hunger keen, and toil in the wretchedness, and suffer too. Full oft imprisonment, yet with it all ye have a soul, and for your sufferings ye shall be happy in the other world, but ill fate of all who do ye wrong. Beautiful. When I shall have departed from this world, whenever ye have need of anything, once in the month, and once when the moon is full, ye shall assemble in a desert place. Now we are talking about when Aradia has passed, as she is mortal. So this part of the gospel I take as this is what Aradia is telling her disciples. When I shall have departed from this world, whenever ye have need of anything, once in the month, and when the moon is full, ye shall assemble in some desert place, or in a forest all together join, to adore the potent spirit of your queen, my mother, great Diana, she who fain would learn all sorcery, yet has not won its deepest secrets. Them my mother will teach her, in truth all things, yet unknown, and ye shall be freed from the slavery, and ye shall be free in everything. And as the sign that ye are truly free, ye shall be naked in your rights, both men and women also. This shall last until the last of your oppressors shall be dead. And ye shall make the game of Benedicto, extinguishing the lights, and after that shall hold your supper thus. And then it goes into holding a ritualistic feast. And how to consecrate magically the supper. However, To break this down a little bit, my interpretation of this is, like I said, this is what Aradia is telling her disciples. This is what is to be done after Aradia has passed this knowledge on to her disciples, and her disciples pass the teachings and the messages of Aradia, the Messiah, on to other witches. And then it creates this tradition here, and it creates generations of empowered witches who follow in Aradia's footsteps. So my kind of idea, my translation of this text is when she says, ye shall assemble in some desert place or in a forest all together join. I think this means maybe don't host ceremonial ritual in the middle of a busy street corner. You know, maybe you need to be someplace out in nature where you will be undisturbed, is where Aradia recommends ceremonies and rites take place. To adore the potent spirit of your queen. Well, Aradia being the queen of all witches, aka also Diana being the queen of all witches, and there's several queens of witches, okay? But in this particular text, we are talking about Aradia and her mother as also a queen, and her mother being a metaphor for the moon. So I feel like, you know, if you kind of decode this here, I feel like what she's saying is to adore the potent spirit of your queen, my mother, great Diana. We're talking about the moon, getting together around the time of the full moon, or honoring cycles of the moon, be it new moon, dark moon, waxing, waning, and full moon cycles. She who fain would learn all sorcery, yet has not won its deepest secrets. Because witchcraft, this is a practice, right? There is no such thing as a master of the craft. You might master specific areas, but in my opinion, the craft is very much a spiral path. This means that you move around your craft in spiral cyclical nature. So you might have thought you learned everything about a topic, and then you revisit it because the craft is a spiral. And when you revisit it, you realize that there was more for you to learn that you did not learn at the time. You also might see things in different perspectives and different lights because the craft is a spiral. You constantly can relearn and learn aspects of the craft. You are always practicing. That is the idea around witchcraft. It is a practice. It is something that you practice. It is a verb. It is something that you do. It is a noun. It is who you are as witch. Then my mother will teach her in truth all things as yet unknown. So then it says, and ye shall be freed from slavery, and ye shall be free in everything. I take this as the moon, Diana and Aradia, blessing the devotee with these deep secrets. You know, the occult is very much a metaphor for hidden knowledge, hidden secrets, things that are hidden. You know, and divination is exploring these hidden aspects and faculties. So this high priestess here, or this priestess of a witch's coven, is receiving messages from the moon to then give to her people, as Aradia was the Messiah of witches. Aradia then passed it on to their disciples, and those disciples, those witchy disciples, then pass it on to the next generation of witches, and passes it on and passes it on. And typically in a coven, that's exactly what happens. You know, witches rise throughout a coven and are imparted wisdom to then spread that wisdom and hive off of that coven and create other covens, which then would make the original coven the mother coven, if you know what I'm saying. And ye shall be free in everything, and ye shall be freed from slavery. How I'm taking that is, with this knowledge and with this power and with these blessings from Diana Aradia, you will be able to rip the bounds and chains and shackles of your oppressors off of yourself using poisons and malefic magic to free yourself and to liberate yourself. And ye shall be free in everything. I think that has to do with the power that is available to you when you step into your own power. You know, some people come into witchcraft looking for power, but the real power is here. So if you keep looking for power outside of your own spirit, you will always be searching for it, because the power that you truly seek to free yourself is right here, and you just have to tap into it. And that is very much what I believe the gospel is saying here. Now, the next part here, ye shall be naked in your rights, both men and women, and this shall last until the last of your oppressors shall be dead. How I take this is, you could take this literally as these specific rites and rituals within a for Aradia, for Diana, for the feast, should be done sky-clad, meaning these rituals should be done naked. Or I could take this in a less literal, more figurative way, in that these men and women within these rites should feel so comfortable with one another. They should have so much trust with one another that it is as though they are naked. Because being naked can also kind of be a metaphor for being vulnerable, being open, exposing yourself to other people. So I think you could take it in the sense that the group that is doing these rites must feel so comfortable with each other, and they must be so energetically close that it's almost as if they were naked. And it could also be literal nakedness and sky-clad aspects as well. Until the last of your oppressors shall be dead. Now I take this as work these rites until your will has been fulfilled. And in this aspect, it's saying the last of your oppressors shall be dead. Keep doing the work, you know, don't show up just for one ritual. Don't expect things to be resolved in one full moon cycle. You know, sometimes it's the little things that we do in the craft that then builds momentum over time, that then creates something much larger than something that we could have manifested in just one lunar cycle. And ye shall make the game of Benevento, extinguishing the lights, and after that shall hold your supper thus. So that takes us into chapter 2. Hope that you all have enjoyed this reading of the Gospel of Aradia. Please let me know, comment down below if this is something that you would like to see more of. This was just the first chapter, and this is just my own personal sort of interpretation of the gospel, and I encourage you all to have your own interpretation and do your own research as well. Once again, I'll link this book down in the description that you can pick it up from Amazon if you'd like to read it along with me. And yeah, if you want to see more of this, if you want me to read more chapters and share my own perspective on the gospel, comment down below. I might make this more of a reoccurring thing. And make sure that you like this video if you liked this video, and subscribe to my channel. And thank you all so much for all of your love and support. I greatly appreciate it. And until next time, blessed be.